Mayor Weaver.
Thank you, Norman. The City of Jasper is still in the process. Just spoke with Barnett today. He's pushing me in every direction to finish this plan before June the 30th. We have several more things that we want to address, but some of the specifics that I can give you today is that we are planning within the next year to extend our water and wastewater north on 515 north of Walmart to Antioch Church Road. If you've been paying attention to the local press and the developments with the project Port Royal, we are, if I just touch base on that just a moment, because it'll be a big part of our plan, is that the City of Jasper City Council met last week and agreed to extend the sewer and water to that project if it becomes a reality. And that will be a very expensive project, which we'll probably have to work with our state as well as federal agencies in order that we might find the funding. But a lot of that will come from our local funds in order to extend the water and wastewater. That's looking like it's going to be probably a $500,000 project that we will be pursuing. And that project, if it happens, will happen on what is known as J19. I believe that is going to be the wishes of most people, because that will fall into our efforts with zoning, because the west end of the county, I believe, have shown some disinterest in that project in the Blaine, Talking Rock, or Hinton. I don't know if we want to call that 2-9 or what. It's 2-9 Talking Rock to be called Hinton, 2-9 Hinton to be called Talking Rock. Yeah. But anyway, that is on the burner. That will happen in 2013. And of course, we'll be pursuing that probably into 2014. If this project of 400 rooms becomes a reality, that will take care of most of 2013 and 2014. But economic development, quickly, the City of Jasper City Council plan to continue support of our local economic development council and our economic developer, Jerry Nechtfall, who has during these difficult times economically has stepped forward and made the county and city, I guess the best term would be, places on the map as far as state concerned. Jerry is, I'm not trying to toot his horn, and definitely don't want to try to give him a raise, but has been very vocal and ever present in the state, trying to pursue jobs for Pickens County. Along that same line is that we are presently, hopefully, and soon having ribbon cutting for Standridge, which is a company that has been built in our industrial or near our industrial park on Hood Road. That's going to employ, I thought at the beginning 20 people, but it'll probably more like 6 to 10. I found out the other day, which was a disappointment to me, but it's still an effort that Mr. Nechtfall and the City of Jasper, Pickens County, Norman, and everyone else has been party to, and that will be opening in the near future. We just opened placed the fire protection meter as well as the meter, and about to tie it on the sanitary sewer, and they should be opening up probably, I think, for July. It's always been June, but I'm going to give them another month. But that's part of our economic efforts, development efforts. Of course, what we'd really like to see over the next 4, 5, 6 years is Pickens County to become a growth community again in residential. We just got really excited today when we have sold, I think, 4 meters in our service delivery area, and that has been quite a while since we've had a 4-meter month. So excited about that potential, but that along again is going to be the major economic driver for Pickens County, because we are still a rural community with a lot of potential for growth, and it's good that we didn't develop before 2006. We still have that to look forward to, and I think that's going to be a big part of 2014, 15, 16, and into the future. And at this time, that leads us into zoning, which I'll be referring to in our plan, which we plan to have a public hearing with the City of Jasper, so we can close out our comprehensive plan within the next couple of weeks. But with that, we'll have to have an opportunity, the slowdown that we've had, to plan for our next 4 and 5 years, because we were growing so fast, and City of Jasper was growing rather fast because we were expanding our city limits on a regular basis, and it's been quite nice over the last 4 years not to be beat on every month because we had an annexation taking place. But with that, we annex only when we think we have the potential to provide the services, whether it be sanitary, sewer, and water. But zoning is going to be something that we're going to have to revisit and discuss what we want as far as 515, as it's going to be aesthetics over the next 5 years and its growth potential. So that's going to be a big part of our comprehensive plan. We want to continue to expand our parks, and as we are sitting here today, one of the reasons I was late today, except for Mary giving me my last, thank you Mary, you turned into a great secretary, that we are building a 60-acre park on Hood Road. And we have over 2.5 miles trails already cut and graveled, and there's going to be more of a nature trail area as well with some capabilities for cart paths. And what we intend to do over the next couple of years, as a matter of fact this year included, 2013 and 2014, is acquire right-of-way and easements that we can tie that park into the downtown, where hopefully we will be able to tie Hunter's Ridge and the community there, over 300 homes, 200, help me out with that, 200, 300 homes, thereabouts. And then we have Arbor Hills with approximately 300 homes, and that's going to drop 600 residential potential households into the downtown area by way of cart paths. And we won't exactly be like Peachtree City, because most of our paths are going to be trails and for lack of a better term, graveled roads. I won't use the word dirt road, we'll use the word graveled road. And of course, over the years, we'll let the next generation, since we're going to cut the paths and have them prepared, we'll, like as our forefathers have done, they left us the responsibility of paving and upgrading our system. So hopefully we'll lay the foundation over the next couple of years for City of Jasper to drop in Hunter's Ridge, Arbor Hills, and then we want to go south of Jasper and tie in Wildwood subdivision, which is, as Hunter's Ridge is not inside the corporate, but we would like to bring them in as possible. And why this is important for our economic development is because by giving the recreational ability, whether you're riding a bike, walking, jogging, or riding a cart into the downtown area, you can see what potential this would be for restaurants to develop and more storefronts to open that we've been experiencing over the last few years and closes. That's going to be a big part of our comprehensive plan to try to get the Central Business District more access from our local neighborhoods, or better access from our local neighborhoods. And of course, we can't forget our 515 as well, so we'll be able to tie these roads once we get them and get these roads into the Central Business District, into the eastern part of the city, which is 515, which they don't have that big a problem as far as traffic, because that's why you build on 515, because you have the visibility. But the Central Business District in the downtown, with the addition of the new courthouse, is going to be a very attractive place, hopefully within the next few years. And with the people, the property owners and the potential storefront owners, knowing that the city plans to drop this potential. And people say, well, what potential are you talking about? Let's just say you were at Hunter's Ridge and you had a trail that led you from your home into our trail system and brings you right into the downtown, where you can drive your cart around like you were an automobile, and you could have dinner at a restaurant, and then you could drive back home. That would be a very attractive thing that you would probably want to get you a easy go as soon as possible. So, and I hope Hunter's Ridge follows Arbor Hills and the other neighborhoods, not just those neighborhoods. We have the Piney Woods and all the neighborhoods inside the city limits that's close to the downtown that would be able to access, and we'll make our streets close to the Central Business District cart friendly. And so hopefully you'll drive to town and you'll start cussing people driving slow 35 miles an hour in their carts. But at the same time, those are potential customers for our business and we'll have to live with that, because I don't look forward to having to follow somebody and say, what's the mayor thinking about putting these people on the streets? We're going to get somebody killed. And yes, we'll have to plan for that and how we will get these people off, and I'm going to leave that up to Sam and his DOT skills. But anyway, those are the main thing. We can get into housing, and we want to continue over the next 5 years until we get to our next plan. You have to go back in history and look. It's just probably 10, 15 years ago, Pickens County was on the threshold when most of the migration from Atlanta area moving north, the first that came were the people who wanted to build trailer parks instead of subdivisions. And what stopped, not that I own more trailers than I do subdivisions, but that's not the tax base that we need for our community. So we're looking at our housing, that we want to still maintain the zoning and the building standards that we would attract the upper end priced home, not because we like upper end priced people more than we like people who like to live in those other dwellings. Is the simple fact that as a mayor of Jasper and as city council, we like a tax base, and with a larger tax base and a stronger residential tax base, we'll be able to fund our schools, our roads, and all the things that Pickens County is recognized to have it anyway. Pickens County is recognized now as one of the highest per capita income counties in all of North Georgia, and that's really fine and good until the state decides they want to give the city of Jasper or Pickens County a grant, and then they tell us that we're a tier 4, is it?
Yes.
Tier 4 instead of a tier 1, and we're not going to get the money that the tier 1 counties get. But I've only had one. I used to say not one single person that stopped by City Hall all the time I've been in office said, Mayor, we know that you're a tier 4 community, and I know the state don't give you the extra funding that a lot of communities get. Can we make a donation today? And that happened. I could have said that never happened, but the other day I had a gentleman come by and say, I want to give to the city a piece of property that's worth a couple of $100,000. And I almost didn't take it, where I could continue to say nobody's come by and offered us any money, but I said, no, we'll take that if that happens and it works out for you that you can. But housing is something that Pickens County, if you see the subdivisions around like Hunter's Ridge and Arbor Hills and Philadelphia Heights, these subdivisions happened because of one thing. Back in 1993, 94, we were being overrun by people who were trying to make a quick buck in Pickens County, is to come in and cut a road out, cut in a few building sites and park trailers, put your septic tank, get your water, and you're ready to go. And that property today that they placed in those subdivisions during that time are worth about $15,000 or $20,000 most to our tax digest, where the people at Arbor Hills and Hunter's Ridge and Philadelphia Heights who spent a lot of money on their properties, and the developers had to spend a lot of money, and some of them didn't leave with a whole lot of money because 2006 hit. But that aside, we have the potential to continue that same growth, and I think probably the citizens of Pickens County would appreciate that continued growth and that per capita income that we anticipate, and what we should work for or toward as the local elected officials to continue to accommodate. Yes, we still have our share of low-end housing, but today, a person who moves in Pickens County, or a person who even lives in Pickens County, has many more opportunities to buy a house at Hunter's Ridge, Philadelphia Heights, Arbor Hills, and these subdivisions that I'm proud of. I'm proud of the fact that they were built during my administration, and the fact that that's the type of housing we wanted for our citizens. The apartment complex that we built behind the hospital, a lot of people don't like apartment complexes, but it's a much better quality of life living in that apartment than a run-down mobile home or whatever the case may be. So that's a goal that the City of Jasper has, that we continue to provide abilities for development when it does take place, that these houses of $200,000, $300,000 home would be more appropriate in our community than the lower end housing. And so that we could receive and reap the reward of the tax base that the school system and the county government and the city government would benefit. But my number one priority for 2013, 14, 15, and however, is to argue and fight with the county administration over the new SPLOST being mentioned. And we want our share of that because the City of Jasper has not received 1 penny of SPLOST, and the last 2 SPLOST that were passed, and the state legislature has seen and had the wisdom to provide for city governments, not just for county governments. So we're going to have a better position to argue instead of sitting around the table like the proverbial red-headed stepchild and say, yes, that's good. I felt real bad about the county getting all the sales tax for the last SPLOST, but then I realized that the commissioner spent every dime of it in the City of Jasper. So we have a courthouse. But with that, what I'm going to argue for, and I'm going to try to convince the commission and the commissioner chair, is that our #1 priority today, if you didn't get your teeth knocked out on your way to this meeting tonight, is that you missed all the potholes in the roads. The state in the past, and most of the pavement you see in this state, in this city, in this county, was paid for by our state dollars. Very few local dollars go to the paving, and what you've seen that trough dry up over the last 5 or 6 years. And I think you're going to continue to see that. So I think probably the big argument at our SPLOST meetings is going to be that every penny of this needs to make sure that our roads don't fall apart over the next 5 years. Yes, we might need a new library, and yes, we might need another building, we might need this, that, and the other, but we've got to maintain our infrastructure. And I hate to say this, being a sewer water type guy, but #1 is our roads. There's no reason to run sewer and water if you don't have roads that are still in place, and you don't think those roads won't fall apart. You just leave them sitting there. If you don't even drive on them 10 years, they're going to bust and fall apart. So we got to maintain our roads, and the #1 priority, and if every penny of the SPLOST is spent on city roads and county roads over the next 6 years, if we get the 6-year pass, and I was going to be my vote, that's where it goes. If you remember the last SPLOST that I argued at, I wanted to build God forbid, a swim center for our citizens, and I wanted approximately $10 million to pull that off on where we're presently building our park. But we needed the courthouse more, and the city gave in and supported the courthouse project. But that being said, this time I believe if the commission watches this video, they'll understand that roads is going to be the City of Jasper's #1 priority. That's going to be resurfacing what we have, and hopefully over the next 2017, which is far reaching from 2013, we hope that the 4-lane coming into downtown will come to fruition, and we'll have a pair of one-ways, and we'll be able to one-way City of Jasper, so that you might have to go home a different way, but you won't meet anybody, is my hope in the future, and everyone won't try to congregate under the traffic light at 53 in Main. So these are our plans, and I'm at our city meeting that we'll have to have before this is final. We will have more detail on this, and I'd rather talk about City of Jasper than anything I can think of right now. So that's about what I got to say.
Thank you, Mayor.